All right.
Good morning, everyone,
Okay.
and welcome to another edition of Unplugged. And this, for the month of October, we are flying the Nigerian flag, and we're looking at the series Very Well Made in Nigeria. Now, this series doesn't say we have achieved all we want to do, but it is where we are going, to make things very well in Nigeria. We are celebrating Nigeria this our Independence Month, and we're going to bring in brand builders, business owners who have the focus of excelling in all they do. And to kick off the series is my friend. She's my friend and not my friend. She's my friend because I love her and what she does. She's not my friend because every time I eat what she does, it's so incredibly addictive in a good way. Let me say compelling that I have to go back, for more. So please welcome with me today Nkechi Taribo-Joseph. She calls herself the Chin Chin seller. You know, she's the CEO.
Hi.
Welcome, Nkechi, and welcome to
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Ma.
Thank you for agreeing. I mean, this has been a long time coming. I know I haven't spoken to you about it, but I've thought about you for a long time, and I knew that I wanted to have you. So
Oh.
now in this time when it's become the fashion not to celebrate where we are, I thought, hey, you know what? Let's swim upstream and look for other people who are swimming upstream as well. You know. So let me just quickly read your bio. And Nkechi is the CEO of Africa's premium chin chin brand, flournuts Chin Chin. She started flournuts in her kitchen 4 years ago, and she started off first selling in small quantities to family and friends while steadily growing the brand. And today she's currently producing from a 50% mechanized factory, which has been certified by NAFDAC, and she's satisfying the taste buds of thousands of clients in Nigeria, including me, and as far as field as Canada. Nkechi says she is committed to ensuring that Chin Chin, one of Nigeria's favorite indigenous snacks, maintains its original taste, and that lovers of Chin Chin, which include me, are guaranteed an offering of fresh, crunchy, tasty, homemade satisfaction. She advocates against all forms of abuse, and we'll like to get into that a bit later. She's passionate about business development, consistency, structure, and women development. Nkechi is married to her greatest cheerleader and support, the emotional masseur, Taribo-Joseph, and they're blessed with two amazing children, whose names I shall not tell you. But they're two amazing children. Yes. Nkechi, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. So and welcome to all our guests so far. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. So we're going to jump right in because the network has been exceedingly wonderful these days, and we're going to try and pack in as much as we can in the time that we have. Nkechi,
Okay.
tell us a little bit about your backstory. What brought you to the place of frying chin chin, or do you air fry them, or do you bake them? What brought you to this point?
Okay. I actually fry the chin chin. It's fried, but most people feel like it's baked, but it's actually fried because I have a unique way of frying it. So I started making chin chin, or I learned how to make chin chin while I was 7. I finished school, and then I came to serve in River State, Port Harcourt at the time. I was staying with my sister. So my sister thought it was a good idea to not just serve. So she thought I should just learn any skill of my choice. So she had some options laid out, and I decided to pick making of pastries, cakes, and catering. So I learned how to make chin chin cakes and all sorts as at the time. And then by the time I was done serving, I was still waiting to get a white collar job. I had studied geology in school, so I was hopeful I was going to start working in one of the oil companies, the Shells and the Chevrons. So after writing a couple of tests in different banks and not getting into any of the oil companies or any of the banks I thought I was going to be working in, I decided to dust off my skill of making pastries. Even though in between searching for jobs and trying to get a white collar job, I remember making chin-chin one time in the house after I started giving birth. So I just decided to make something for the house. I made chin-chin, and her friends that came to visit her and her baby, they were like, this is actually nice. Who made this? And she told them I was the one. They were like, this is actually good. So I was just in and out of, I didn't really take it seriously, I was just trying to pass time because I thought I was passing time while I was waiting for the white collar job. So I didn't really take it seriously. It was after I got married and I'd not still gotten the Shell or Chevron or even a GT Bank job, I decided to maybe take it seriously. So even at that time, I was like, I was still passing time. So I didn't really still take it seriously, So that's how I started. I started from my husband's kitchen, making the chin-chin from there. So that's how I started with did I really have customers? Just a few family and friends. Buying, sometimes giving for free. So it wasn't really a business up until December 2016. That's when it actually became a business. And I got registered in 2017 officially. So that's how I started.
Okay, when you say you got registered, is it you got registered as a business?
Yes, CAC registration, CAC, yes, as a business in 2017. But I officially started by myself in December 2016. After the whole story is in 2013, I got married in 2012. So after I stayed for a couple of months, I'd not gotten anything to do. In 2013, I decided to start selling. So I just talked to a couple of friends. I had one of my friends, her husband worked in LNG Bonny. So she came over to Port Harcourt just to see me and to see some of her family too. So I gave her the chin-chin back. I didn't sell it to her at the time. That was in 2013. So I just gave it to her to take back, to have something. So she took it back. In fact, she told me it was nice. The thing is, when I started making, everybody that tasted the chin-chin at the time, they said this was nice. They knew there was something different about my chin-chin. So I always had the comment of, no, this is nice, this is nice. So I was making this chin-chin. I didn't really know how nice this was because I don't think maybe I didn't know that chin-chin was supposed to be bad. I don't know. But then I didn't know how nice this was until I started eating chin-chin of other people. I knew that, no, there was something really unique about this, my chin-chin. So by the time my friend took it to Bonny, somehow her husband grabbed the pack after eating it in the house and took it to the office. So it got to the husband's office. The husband had the chin-chin. His friend came to his desk, ate the chin-chin, and then the chin-chin went viral in the office. And all my friends' husbands' colleagues started calling me for chin-chin. So at that point, I had to put a price. I started putting a price. I just put a price, asked how much people sold custard buckets of chin-chin, because at that time, I was selling only in custard buckets, even though I was packaging them in some sort of transparent flowery bags. Those were the bags I was using initially, not the pouches I use now. So I had to put a price. So the others came and they wanted chin-chin. I gave them a price and they were willing to pay. They were like, it was worth it. Even though at the time I gave them that price, I don't do any calculation. I didn't know, or I'd done a basic calculation, maybe flour, butter, sugar, but I'd not calculated my rent. I'd not calculated my maybe gas. I'd not done those other thorough calculations. So I just gave them a price and then they were willing to pay. So the others kept coming from just those my friends in Bonny, and then from a few of my families, and from church too. Just a few people like that. Even though at that point I wasn't still taking it seriously. I was still passing time. So that's how I started selling. But by the end of towards the end of 2013, I had to stop. Why? Because I was pregnant and then I lost my pregnancy to making chin-chin because I was by myself in the house making a chin-chin. I know for you to make chin-chin, you need to stand for long hours, cutting, molding, kneading. Yes. So I did not even know I was losing. In fact, I did not even know I was pregnant, first of all. I just saw myself spotting. So I was 14. I had to go to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they told me I was pregnant and I just lost the baby of like maybe 4 or 5 weeks at the time. So after that time, I just had to stop. My husband told me I couldn't do it anymore. I should just stop. My life was more important first. After all, I just got married. So let's start our family. So by 2014, I took in again, and then I gave birth towards the end of 2014. So that's how I stopped. But the funniest thing is, all through my pregnancy journey, all my customers kept calling. They were like, they kept calling, please, we want chin chin. At the point, most times in Nigeria, when you're pregnant, you don't like to tell people you're pregnant, especially people that are not close to you. You just tell them,
Yes.
I just have to tell them I took a break. They were like, what kind of break is this? Until I had to open up to them. I'm like, I was pregnant, and then I lost my first pregnancy. So maybe I told them, they were like, no, please, 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 don't worry, we wait. When I heard them say they would wait, it seemed like it's the normal thing we would wait. Do you know that they helped me calculate till I gave birth? Immediately I gave birth, they were like, hey, you are giving birth now. They were like, okay, you have given birth now. So can you start supplying already? I'm like, I just gave birth already. Give me some time to get back and all. So they gave me a little time to actually get back. And maybe like 4 months time, I got back. But at that point, I wasn't advertising. I was just supplying to the people that already knew about the chin chin, that were ordering. So I didn't want to do any form of marketing because, of course, I was not even ready. And then, like I said, I'll keep using this line. I was just still passing time. I was still waiting for my Shell job or Chevron job to come because I was not going to sell chin chin like chin chin. How? No. Seriously, at the beginning, I looked down on it. I looked down on selling chin chin like, no, it was below me. How will I be selling chin chin? Oh, in fact, I
After
looked down
studying
on it.
geology. I mean, she was geology you studied.
Exactly. I had to work in an oil company. So it had to be one of the oil companies. So that's how I kept I kept giving to them. And then sometime in 2015 again, I got pregnant. And of course, my getting pregnant again meant I had to stop every form of chin chin production because, like I said earlier, making chin chin is stressful. You have to stand for long hours to mold, to cut. And I was the only one still making from my kitchen. So I stopped again in 2015. I took in, and then I gave birth in 2016, July. So by December 2016, I was ready to get back into business. So at that point, I was like, if people could wait for me for months for this same chin chin, then it was something to take seriously, So I'm a believer, and I had to go back to my place of prayer. Like, there was really nothing I was doing. I was just a housewife at the time. I was writing tests and doing interviews, but none was coming through at that time. So I didn't have a choice. Like, I had to do something. I didn't just want to sit back in the house and not do anything. Because at that point, I had to go to my place of prayer. Like, God, what do you want me to do at this point? As in, I really want to do something. I want to add value. I want my life to have a meaning. I want my life to be a blessing to other people. So what would you have me do? Do I keep waiting to get a white collar job? Or do I go ahead and do this chin chin, like chin chin? And at that point, it was clear. And I knew ahead clearly when God told me it was this chin chin. He said it is with this chin chin. There's a scripture I always hold dearly because that was scripture that God led me to read. I don't want to say it here, but that was the scripture. And
No,
I knew this was it. Okay. So it's a scripture in Genesis, and God referred me to Abraham. And what was Abraham doing? All Abraham did was rear stocks, rear animals.
Yeah.
And in the scripture, the Bible said, and Abraham became great, and Abraham became wealthy in gold and in silver from rearing stocks, from rearing heads, rearing animals. And then God said, put yourself there. Your name will become great, and you will make wealth from making chin chin. When it was so loud, it was so clear, it was so audible, I knew that was God speaking. And then I'm like, chin chin. No. So at that point, it was not speaking, but then I was still doubting, like, how was that going to be possible from just chin chin in my kitchen? So of course, I did not say no, but I didn't have a choice because, of course, I didn't have any other thing to do. So I had to just keep going and then keep making chin chin. So at that point, I decided to take the chin chin seriously. So by December 2016, I told my husband, borrow me 15,000 naira. Was it 20,000 naira at the time? I want to start this thing seriously. Even though all the while, my husband kept telling me, he said, this thing that you have, you don't know what you have. You have a unique product. I say, you want me to be selling chinchi while you are working in a good office, Abi? Let's exchange places. Come and sell chinchi. Let me work in your office. Come and sell chinchi. Let me work in your office. They're telling me to sell chinchi while you're working in the office. I said, you try very well. Even though, like I said, I didn't have a choice. So a lot of people say passion pushed them into entrepreneurship. For me, passion did not push me. It's a case of you don't have a choice. You will do it because you cannot stay idle. So that's how I started in December 2016. I had to put a price. At that time, I put a price. I was selling my custom bucket for like, I think it was 3,500 naira at the time. So I was selling a custom bucket for 3,500. Then my sister too is one of my cheerleaders, my elder sister. She was like, but you can't just sell only a custom bucket for 3,500. What if there are people that cannot afford 3,500? Why not make something smaller for them? Like make it into other sizes. Sit down and just develop your sizes by yourself. Do it by yourself. Sit down and do some calculations and do your sizes and get other sizes to sell. And you could get more customers too. It's not everybody that can afford, because the company I was actually selling to those days were people in LNG in Bonny. He said these are LNG workers.
That's where your mind was now. You wanted the oil company.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my mind was. So she said, everybody cannot work in LNG. Some people that will not be able to afford it. So why not get something smaller for those people that are not LNG workers too that can afford it? So I'm like, okay, that's really a good idea. So I decided to now start creating sizes. So from my 2.4 kg size, which was the first bucket, I had to create a 1.2 kg, a 600 gram, a 300 gram, and then a 75 gram. And I put a prices on each of the sizes, and then that's how I started. So at that point, I had a lady. She's my friend. She's my big friend. She's into catering and baking and all. She too was one of my cheerleaders. She was like, you have a great product. You need to push this. Don't joke with this. So at the time, I think she was about to leave the country. So I had to have a meeting with her quickly before she left the country. I had a meeting with her. She was like, you have a great product. So she was the first person that introduced me to WhatsApp marketing and Facebook and Instagram marketing. So she told me to take those platforms seriously and then start marketing through that platform. She told me to create a WhatsApp group and put all my customers on that WhatsApp group so that each time I could send broker messages to them and get them to know that I was still here and selling chin-chin. I took that advice seriously. So I started sending out messages. I remember that December 2016, I sent out messages. She even encouraged me to create a small basket of chin-chin, cake, and wine that December. So that's in December. I actually created a basket that's December 2016 of chin-chin, wine, cakes, sweets, chocolates, and then put a price on it. I had orders that particular December. I could not, I wasn't sleeping. I would wake up and I just had a baby. I had a baby in July.
Yeah.
So and I had a toddler too that was like 3 or 2 years old at the time, and I was the only one, just my help in the house. So that December, I would sleep. I'll put my babies to sleep like about maybe 8, 9, do all the tidying in the house. Then by 11 o'clock, I will start my production. So I would produce in my kitchen, produce, mold, fry, cut, and do all the what have you, package, and then by morning, I will do the production from like 11 till about 4 a.m. By 4 a.m., I will sleep for 1 hour till 5. Thank God my son had not started going to school. I don't think he was going to school yet. So I would sleep for 1 hour. So I would sleep from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. I remember that time while I was producing, I usually had my earphones on. I'll play music, listen to messages. And one of those days, I stumbled into this lady, the Moi Moi lady. I don't know how that message came into my phone, but somehow I stumbled into the message, and then hello, okay, and then I listened. I just kept listening to her message. Her message actually encouraged me, and then somehow she grew big out of selling mama from her kitchen. That story was an inspiration to me. I held on to that story for more. In fact, till date, I still refer back to that story because listening to her, how she was just making moi moi, and then somehow she got to the US and was serving moi moi to Bill Clinton and his wife, or was it Obama? farmer or something. And I was so amazed by her story. And it encouraged me because some of those nights by myself in the kitchen, I'm meeting myself like, truly, it's really chin-chin. You are up late in the night trying to make chin-chin and supply chin-chin to people. I think, how is this going to grow into a business? How are you going to continue? What's the next? But one thing about my journey was I just kept moving and just kept trusting that I was in the right path and I was making the right decision. So I just kept moving. I will sleep by 4 a.m., wake up by 5 a.m. By the time I wake up, I will do the normal, usual morning chores, get my children ready. The children I've produced, I'll package by that time and then put them in my car. Strap my baby in the car seat, strap my son too at the back, and then I'm off to start delivering. I'll go to offices, and these were people that must have placed their orders from the previous day. So I'll go to offices, give to the people. I was still going to LNG, I was going to Shell, and then I was going to some other offices to deliver. So all through that December till January, that was what I was doing. That's till January 2017 at the time. So by January 2017, I knew it wasn't possible to do it again by myself. I had to get someone to help because at that point, it was already too stressful for only me to handle. So I got my first staff. She lasted for just like maybe 4 weeks or even less. It was too stressful. Like I said before, making chinchin is a lot of work. It's very stressful. Yeah. She had to leave because she said it was too stressful, standing for long hours, cutting and all. So she left. I got another one. And do you know that person is still with me? My second staff I got, her name is Esther. And Esther is still with me till date. She's my longest staff. So she grew with me from my kitchen to my factory where I am right now. So that's my journey so far. That's how I've been. That's how I've started, rather. That's how I started from that 2017, and I started going out. From there, I started making plans to get NAFDAC certified. I went to NAFDAC, started the whole process, and then I had to now get a place. By the time I got to NAFDAC,
before you get into that, I want to know.
Okay.
Well, first of all, you have some serious fans over here. You have Afia Nebon who says she's your flournuts.
Oh, Afion.
Chin fan. Yeah. So hi Afion.
Hi Afion. She's my very great customer.
Imabasi says our chin plug. Yeah, she's our chin plug.
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you everybody who has been with us from the beginning, and for those who have joined. And I want to thank you, Nkechi, for being very, very open and vulnerable. A lot of people will just tell us, small girl, big God, which I believe in. But, that doesn't capture the essence of the process. And you've taken us through the process in great detail, including the fact that for you it was frying ching-ching. We're just frying ching-ching, So from frying ching-ching, when I was preparing for this, I remember the Moi Moi lady. I remember the Umanya Kamo, sells Bobeb's pap, and she's now selling, I think she's now selling in America as well. Yeah, officially in America. And then I also started thinking about all those confectionery that we eat from abroad. And then I'm thinking, well, if we can eat their own, why can't they eat our own? And it made me want to think, at what point did you think, now this is no longer a joke, people want this product, so let me go for NAFDAC registration? Why did you think you needed, because now you're moving from just being a kitchen business, you're moving now to say, I need to put structures in. Why? What pushed you?
Yeah. Okay, so by the time I kept getting orders and the testimony was the same everywhere, the chin had gone, I knew I had to get into shops because I'm like, if I could get orders directly by myself, then I needed to get into shops to have more people have these products then. So I did not even know I needed NAFDAC to get into shops. So by the time I approached a few shops, that's when I knew that I needed NAFDAC. So when shops were asking me if I had NAFDAC number, I'm like, I don't think I need NAFDAC. The floor had NAFDAC. the margarine had NAFDAC. So why do I need NAFDAC? This other products are NAFDAC. I said no, I needed to get NAFDAC. So I needed to get a NAFDAC. I needed to get a NAFDAC number and get my product NAFDAC certified. So at that point, I decided to go to the NAFDAC office. So I just paid a visit to the NAFDAC office one day, and I told them I was making chin-chin, and they were like, that the only chin-chin that was NAFDAC certified at that time was mini-me chin-chin. So
okay.
in fact, they wondered who I was, because I just walked in as one small girl, and then they were like, "Did your company send you, or who are you?" I'm like, "I'm the owner. I make it right now in my kitchen." And they were as in, do you know right now, I did my NAFDAC certification in Port Harcourt. All the NAFDAC staff in the Port Harcourt office, they are my customers.
Wow.
And they made sure my process was kind of fast, because by the time they ate the chin-chin, they were like, "Please make sure you don't reduce this quality, because we have never had any chin-chin this good." Even the NAFDAC staff in the Port Harcourt office, I still have customers there to date that I deliver. They pay for the chin-chin. I deliver. They don't tell me, "You are NAFDAC now, come on." No, they pay. I deliver to them right now. The ones that can't go into shops. That was even before we got into shops. So most of them even shop now from stores that are close to them. So it was at that point I knew if I needed to get into shops, okay, yes, I needed to get another certification. I needed to start setting structures, even though I didn't know what these things were at the time. Setting a structure, having systems in place, and all. I didn't know. Those were terms that were bogus to me at the time, because I didn't know what they were. After all, I was just making chin-chin and giving out to people that needed chin-chin. So I didn't even know you need to do structure and this and that until in December 2017, not December, in 2017, I can't remember the month in particular. Somehow I stumbled into Mr. Chukwuka Monye. I don't know if you know him. He's a brand strategist. He had a course, he had an event in Port Harcourt. So I decided to attend that event. I think it was a free event. So I decided to attend the event. And one thing about me, any event I go for, I make sure I go with my product and I market my product in that event. I must tell somebody about the product in that event.
That's how we met.
So it happened to be
at an event.
Yes, that's how we met. I remember. Yes, that's how we met. So I'm my number one gospel spreader of my chin-chin. Anywhere I go, I must tell somebody, or I must tell people. And I always have a pack for people to taste. So I don't just tell them, I must give you something to taste so that you can have that taste of the chin-chin. So I attended that event in 2017, and it was then I knew this chin-chin will actually turn into a good big business, because I didn't know, of course, I didn't know how to go about it. But after I attended that event, I gave Mr. Chukwuka Monye my chin-chin. He tested it. He was like, "What? This is good. Did you make this?" I said, "Yes." He said, what are you doing about scaling? That was the first time I heard maybe I've heard scale and scaling, but I've never heard this in the business term. He said, so when he said scaling, I'm like, what's that? He said, you need to grow big. You need to get into shops. This thing needs to blow. That's what he said. That's what I mean by scaling. I'm like, okay, so how can I? So then he told me about getting NAFDAC. Of course, before then, I'd already started the process. I told him I was doing that process of trying to get a NAFDAC number. He was like, okay, so you should continue and then see how you can get into shops. You need to get into shops. This product is too good for people not to have a taste of it. The world needs to taste your chin-chin. So I had a couple of people like that, even just customers telling me, you need to get into ShopRite. I had a customer who said, this chin-chin should be in a shop like ShopRite, not just this small shops. Get into ShopRite, get into Spar. Your product is too good for people not to have a taste of it. So, of course, I had the constructive criticism from people telling me, okay, you need to do this way, you need to do this that way, if you have to go further. So I put everything I'm getting from different people. And you know one thing about a good product is, Nigerians, when they taste a good product, they're usually honest about it, and then they tell you your product is good, especially when it's really good. In my case, my product was really very good, and me, I know it is really good. It's not just I wasn't hyping. I'm not one to hype, so I'm not one to hype. I'm usually very honest in my communication. So trust me when I say it's good. It's actually really good. So I knew it was good, and then I knew, okay, see, this thing is good. This is a ministry. I need to take it further. I need to get into shops. And for me to get into shops, the first thing was get my NAFDAC registration. So I set a goal. I told myself by 2018, I was going to get my NAFDAC registration. So I started the process of NAFDAC registration I think I did my visitation by December 2017, or I did it earlier in the year. They gave me a list of things to do. And then By late 2017, I visited them again. I had done some things they asked me to do, to pay for registration, do trademark and some other things. And then they actually said I was serious. So they told me to get a place, that they needed to come and inspect the place. And then I needed to pay for the place. So I asked them, can I do it in my kitchen? And they said yes, that I could, if I want to, I could do it in my kitchen. But after going back, I had a thought. I'm like, if I want this thing to actually grow, yes, I could get certified in my kitchen, but can it really grow from my kitchen? If I move out of my kitchen, then I know that I'm really taking this thing seriously. By the time I pay rent for 1 year, I know that I will have to work out that rent and not sleep.
True.
So at that point, I'm like, yes. So at that point, I was like, okay, then I think I should actually get a place. It doesn't have to be a big place. It could be a small place. So I started searching, and then I found a place. I found a 3-bedroom apartment. By the time I asked for the rent was expensive. I'm like, what? How am I going to get that kind of money from to pay the rent? But somehow I was willing. That was my first big leap for my business. My first big leap was getting a place and then paying the rent. And I paid for that rent in December 2017, if I can remember very clearly. I didn't have all the money to pay for the rent. So at that point, I had to meet family and friends. And then I was able to raise the money for the rent. I raised the money for the rent. I paid for the place. And do you know that NADAC did not set it? They didn't come to that place. I paid for a place in December 2017. And NADAC did not come to that place until about February 2018. So I had my rent already running for like 2 months in an empty space, all cleaned. At that point, I didn't have the machines yet. Yes, all cleaned, waiting for NAFDAC. That's another. I feel like we need to improve on the NAFDAC procedure because it takes a whole lot of time, and one could run into losses. If not that I had friends that trusted me enough, I'm sure I'll start running into losses because they had to understand that, of course, the place I was paying rent, it was running. I wasn't using the place. I was using my kitchen at the time. So I did not even have all the money to even pay back as when I was supposed to pay back. I started paying back in pieces because I was thinking immediately I get into the space with another certification, I will be able to scale further and of course increase my revenue. But it wasn't happening that way because I was still waiting for NAFDAC, and those shops could not let me in because I did not have a NAFDAC number. Yes, I was doing the process, but that wasn't enough for them to accept my product because even if they did, NAFDAC could come to their stores and confiscate my products and find those shops. So they could not even allow me sell. So just a few neighborhood shops, just a few, like 1 or 2 of the neighborhood shops where I know that NAFDAC doesn't really come to all the time, that just accepted me. And then they told me if at all NAFDAC comes and they confiscate my products, it will be my loss. Yes. So I was ready. Well, I took the risk. I was ready. So NAFDAC did not come until February 2018. So my rent was already running for 2 months before they finally came, saw the place, and then asked me to arrange it in a certain way. So I had to start breaking down walls, putting back in someone's apartment too. Even though I told the landlady, she agreed. She was like, okay, it's fine. As far as I was going to redo everything when I'm leaving the place, I was like, yes, I will redo if I have to leave that place later on. So I had to now reconstruct the place and then set it up in the way that wanted me to set it up. So I was thinking, okay, they had checked out the place. It was going to be so fast, and in the next few weeks, my another number was going to be out. I waited again for another like 5 months. In between strikes, in between someone wasn't in the office, in between they're not working right now, and a lot of stories. Another number did not come out until late 2018. So I was finally certified by maybe September or October 2018. I'm not even sure, but it took me almost 1 year to get, and at that point, my rent had expired already. So I paid a rent for a whole year for a place I did not use. So that was a loss on the business, first of all. At that point, I was ready to just pack up and leave, but I knew what I wanted. So I had to keep going. So I kept going. I raised another money again. Because of course, at that point, my business wasn't even giving me enough to raise enough capital to pay for that kind of rent. Because another number had not come. So I couldn't even go into those shops that would give me more funds and more revenue. So I had to raise money again to pay for the rent. As at this time that I became actually NAFDAC certified. So at this point, I decided to scale further. I'm like, if I have a big place like this, why work manually? Let me get machines, So I went about searching for machines. I searched for machines. I'm like, okay, so how do I now pay for the machines? Then I heard of Bank of Industry. And earlier when I started, I used to go for a lot of fairs. I go for fairs. I'd even travel for a fair in Lagos, in Calabar, in different places. Then in Port Harcourt too, I attended some fairs. So I started a fair in Calabar, and that's how I ran into the NADAC was one of the businesses that came to display too. So I met one of the NADAC official, BOI officials, not NADAC, Bank of Industry officials. So it was when I was looking for a way to get funds for machines. I remember that I had met, sorry, I remember that I'd met a Bank of Industry official in one of the trade fairs I'd gone for. And then I somehow searched for his card, got out his card, and then I called him. So he asked me if I was in Calabar. I said, no, I wasn't in Calabar, that I was based in Port Harcourt, that I just came to Calabar for that fair. He was like, wow, you traveled all the way to Calabar for Chin Chin? I was like, yes, because I believe in Chin Chin so much. I was like, okay, okay, he can't help me from here. So he said he can't help me from Calabar, but he will give me the director's number in Port Harcourt. That I should tell him I came from him and he will attend to me. So I collected the guy's number from him, and then I went to the Bank of Industry office in Port Harcourt. So that's how I started securing a loan. And in a few months' time, I was able to secure a loan from Bank of Industry. So that's how I scaled using machines. So NAFDAC checked my books and made sure everything was okay. As at that point, I think after I met Mr. Chukwukamonye in December in 2017, that's when I started taking records of my business. All along, I was taking records. I wasn't recording sales. I was just
going to ask
buying, selling,
that.
Giving to people, not even sure of what was what. Yeah, so it was.
I was going to ask you, how did you know?
So it was at that, and thank God I started taking
records,
records at that time. It was that time I started keeping records. In fact, my book started from December. I still have those books till date, December 2017, after I had met Mr. Chukwukamonye, because he told me it was if I needed to scale, if I needed to be sure of what I was doing, if I needed to put systems and structures in place, it's from my records. And those records helped me when I wanted to secure a loan from Bank of Industry, because it was with those records that they were able to give me the loans. They saw the books, they saw I was selling, they saw that if I scaled, of course, I'll be able to pay them back their money. And of course, they gave me the loan. And then I bought the machines. Even though BOI, they don't give you money. They pay for the machines and then you take the machines. They said they started doing that because people started going away with their monies and they're not buying the things they said they were supposed to buy. So they pay to the companies, then you take the machines. So that's how I got my machines, and then I scaled. So I scaled, moved from manual kitchen and then into a factory that was certified. And then I started using machines, not 100% mechanization, 50% mechanization, because at some point we still have to use our hands. Our chin chin is actually homemade, so we can't fully use machines to produce them, because if we fully use machine to produce it, then we lose that homemade taste. So there's a part the hand has to play in the chin chin to actually give it that homemade taste. So that part, I don't know if there's any machine right now, but it's still our hands that needs to do that part, play on the dough to make it have the homemade taste that the chin chin has. So that's how I was able to scale from my kitchen and then into my 50% mechanized factory.
Okay, well, that is quite a story. I mean, I'm just listening to it like it's a blockbuster, and which it is. And then I'd say once again, there's a book I read, and I'm knocking myself on the head for forgetting the title, but it was written by two gentlemen who were writing about doing business in Nigeria, especially when you've been abroad and you come back, and people will tell you, oh, it's the usual. I hate to say this, it's the usual cliche. They won't tell you what they went through. They just say, oh, it's God, I was just lucky, and stuff like that. And that in every business story, there's about 300 pages missing from of what the grits they went through. But you've told us so much. You filled in the 300 pages. You've told us so much about your own personal losses. I mean, this could have impacted your marriage, but hey, like I say to people, choice of a spouse is very, very important in your progress in anything in life. And then the other thing I find very important is that you were very eager to train, to train yourself, to learn. You know, you didn't just say, "Oh, okay, I can make ching ching. Let me just go on Instagram and sell, or Facebook and sell." And when I first met you, your chin chin was called Kudis Flour Nuts. Now, how did it how did it
Planet.
transit to just
Yeah.
flour nuts? And it wasn't the same pack. Yes, it wasn't the same pack. So was that part of your
Planet.
intentional
Oh,
growth?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the transition happened. I didn't want to lose that name, but I had to lose it when I started my NADAC registration. So by the time I started NADAC registration, I needed to do trademark. So I wanted to trademark Cordis Flannut. By the time I went to trademark
Okay,
Cordis
Cuddies.
Flannut,
Okay.
it was on the system of the trademark. They told me that someone was using Cordis already. So I couldn't use, yeah, so I couldn't use Cordis. So that's how I had to leave. It was so painful. I had to tell them, can't they said there was nothing they could do. Someone else was using Cordis, so I had to let the Cordis go. So at that point, I had to ask them, okay. So in fact, they told me to even let Cordis Flannut go. I was like, no, as in my Trinity is known as Cordis Flannut at that time. So how do I, as in, so then I had to now start thinking. So I went back to ask them, can I at least leave Flannut and then let the Cordis go? So they agreed and said, okay, I should let Cordis go and then just leave only Flannut. So at that point, I had to now start calling it Flannut Chinchin. If not, before it was just call this Flannut without the Chinchin. So at that point, I let Cordis go and then I trademarked Flannut Chinchin. I couldn't trademark Cordis anymore. And making you trademark a name, that is the name that has to stay on the front of the pack of the Chinchin of whatever products that you have. You can't use any other name. But if you turn to the back of my pack, you will just see the company name, which is still Cordis Flannut. It's still at the back of the pack, but it's so small that sometimes you might not necessarily see it if you don't look out for it. So that's how I lost the name Cordis and then stuck with just Flannut Chinchin because of trademark.
Okay. Okay. And what is okay from your
Hello, Ma, are you
kitchen
there?
and said, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay,
I can hear you.
okay. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay. So what I want to ask now is what is next from your kitchen? You've moved. Okay, Nkechi has gone off briefly. We shall wait for her to come back in. But meanwhile, I can see all you ching ching sellers, eaters out there. You know, yeah, yes, Ima, the sheer scale of her story is impressive, and I believe she's going to take it further. Because okay, she's coming back in. I saying yes, I agree with you. I think it's that homemade taste that makes the difference. Okay, she's back. Yeah.
Okay.
It- yes,
Network threw me
yes,
out.
yes, it did. You know.
Okay.
Okay, so what's your big dream? What's your big dream? You know, you've moved from your kitchen to and selling from your the back of your car, so to say, and now you're
Mm-hmm.
in supermarkets. What's the dream? What's the vision?
Okay, so the vision is to be in every major supermarket in Nigeria. At first, I was thinking, okay, maybe just major supermarkets, but now I'm also thinking informal markets, like being on the streets too. So, and to be on the streets, I need to get a smaller pack, which I did not have initially. My smallest pack of chinchin is 200 naira, which is still too expensive to be in the
For the
informal
open
market,
market?
especially.
Mhm.
So, yes, yes. So the bigger dream is to be in to have to come out with 100 naira pack size, and then have it in the major superstores where we are already, and also in the open informal market, and then have our chin chin everywhere. In fact, the vision is to be the most preferred homemade chin chin in Nigeria and in Africa. So, of course, from Nigeria to Africa and then to other continents of the world. And the bigger vision is to actually introduce, there's really nothing the world really knows Nigeria for apart from our crude oil. it's just the crude oil. Yes, the world knows we have cocoa, but we don't even process the cocoa in Nigeria. We just export, and then it is processed and then sent back to us as chocolates, and then we buy it in a very expensive amount. But then I want the world to know Nigeria for just like the world knows Singapore for noodles. Why can't the world know Nigeria for chin chin? Like chin chin is made as in I've known chin chin for as far back as I was a child, and I'm in my 30s. So the world needs to know Nigeria or for something like a snack that people will eat and they're like, ah, no, this is actually nice. How can we produce this in our country? And then we say the recipe came from Nigeria. So that's the bigger dream, to have chin chin as a Nigerian snack that is in other countries, in other continents, and people eat chin chin and they remember that, oh, I'm eating this chin chin, but it was a snack that actually got originated from Nigeria, and then now it's in other parts of the world, just like noodles is, and other pastries like spaghetti. Spaghetti is an Italian food. Even the pizza we eat here in Nigeria, it wasn't originally from Nigeria. It's an Italian, if I'm very correct, it's an Italian snack. And right now we eat pizza in Nigeria. So we can have chin chin that way. Like it's from Nigeria. And then it's in other countries. Other countries are actually craving to and excited to have this snack that came from Nigeria. So that's the big vision for now. Of course, it could go bigger than that, but that's the vision for now.
Okay. Well, are you aware that well, there's jollof rice in Nigeria too? That's
yeah, there's jollof rice in Nigeria. Yeah. Yes, there's jollof rice.
And
people have that craze too for jollof rice.
Oh yes. And when you talk about chocolates, I do know of a brand, and I'm sure there are many others who this one is in Abuja, and they get their chocolates and they process their chocolates locally.
Oh wow! And that's good then.
Oh yes. People are doing a lot of great things. And part of the challenge, I believe, is getting yourself known. How willing are you to get yourself known? You said you had attended fairs, exhibitions, etc. I know you got our good friend Dan the humorous to be
ambassador.
Ambassador for you for a time, and you always have what you call a testimony, which is not just testimony,
feedback.
But
feedback from people.
Feedback, from people, and that's good. But how are you going to now intentionally broaden it to make sure that people do want the snack? Because there is, I think it's a Latin American snack. It's called churros, and it's very much like chin chin. It's fried dough. It's like street food. I don't know if the package is. I can't speak to that, but I know when I see it, it's like chin chin, but it's almost like long. I don't know if they do the little ones, but the world could always use some more chin chin, especially flournuts, and is this something you're going to start looking at to see how can you get your products into other countries abroad? Okay, I have a comment here saying someone said, okay, he's in England, and he said, fairly, let me show it. So fairly recently, I've seen chin chin on a couple of supermarket shelves here in England, also canned jollof rice. I very much look forward to seeing Nkechi's brand on the shelves. Well, Nkechi's brand is the best, I tell you. When she understands what I'm saying is I'm shaking my head. I feel like a shareholder. Okay, Imaba says churros are packaged as well. Okay, great. Yes, so I mean, if the world is getting a lot more global when it comes to food taste, and people are getting a lot more adventurous, so why not? This seems like the perfect time for you to strike out. And what would you think about marketing your brand while you are let people know the name? Let people know the name, because the product is good. You've done a lot of work on the product. Are you also thinking about different variations, or are you sticking to this your secret recipe, which you will not tell anybody. So what's the
Oh,
future?
okay, for variants.
That's the question.
So
Yes.
for variants, yes. In fact, I already have one cooking. In fact, it's as good as done. I have another variant that's as good as done. Not the regular variant, but something that's going to be mind blowing too. But
Wow.
so I have that cooking already. Like I said, it's almost cooked and it's going to be out soon too. So, but of course, like you talked about, branding and advertising, I need to get into a space of advertising more. Yes, I do social media adverts and all, but I feel like I need to do more adverts like billboards, TV, radio, and to do all that, I need to scale further too, because paying for radio, TV adverts, and jingles are expensive. Especially, yes, I've scaled, but I'm still a small business, so it's expensive. So that's in the plan. That's in the plan, definitely. But then it's going to come soon as I scale further, because, like I said earlier, there are plans to scale further. And as we scale further, we're going to go big too in advertising, in promotions, using more ambassadors, both micro and macro influencers, using them too to promote the products, having radio jingles, having talks, and just going all big. I just feel okay. Recently, I just felt like I've been playing. Maybe yes, I'm in ShopRite and all, but a lot of people don't still know me. I'm still like a medium fish or a small fish in a big sea. So I need to do more to grow more and get more. I know I need to. So recently, I've been having talks with maybe prospective investors, and very soon we need to go. I know I'm going to go, or we are going to go bigger, and going to start doing more promotions, more adverts, and let Nigeria know us first of all. So
Fantastic.
yes, I know a few people know me, but I feel like the whole Nigeria needs to know that there is a flournuts changing somewhere, and definitely by God's grace, soon it's going to happen.
Fantastic. Well, the good thing about it is that you've done a whole lot of thinking, which is the important thing. You figured out the strategy, and you're willing to go do the hard work, put your shoulder to the wheel, and do the hard work. That costs a whole lot more than actually the marketing, the advertising that you think, you know. So I'd say don't be afraid. Don't be afraid at all. It may not cost as much as you think. It may not cost as much as you think. People can do a lot. In fact, I'll tell you, as somebody who has worked in branding for years, agencies are happy with small clients who let them be very creative. Let them experiment. Oh yes, oh yes. So when you're ready for that, let's talk, because there are people I could hook you up with. Yes, but I also want to ask. We have like 8 minutes left, 7-8 minutes left. You know, I told you this would just pass in a flash. You know.
Yeah, you said so, and it is actually actually the pass in a flash.
You know. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten my question. Yeah. So while I've forgotten my question, let me try to remember my question. Let me put what Imabasi has put here. She's a marketing strategist, and she's into development and business development. So she says variants with she's also a foodie, so I don't understand this. Yeah, you can understand
variants with chocolate chips. I've screen grabbed already. I already screen grabbed it. Such as variants with chocolate chips, rainbow sprinkles, and raisins. Okay, I screen grabbed it already. So of course I'm going to explore with all that. I've actually had someone suggest this rainbow sprinkles. Who was that? I think that was FD, Mr. Fela Durotui. He has actually suggested that rainbow sprinkles to me. Yes, this was like a year or 2
really
years ago.
Attractive to children. That'd be very
to
attractive
children. That was what he said too. Yeah.
Yes,
so
it would be.
So I'm actually going to explore that too.
Okay.
I'm going to explore all that. Thank you so much, Ima.
Oh, okay. We're getting a lot of interaction here. SCN says, I also have a lot of international pals who both love ching ching, churros, etc. So aiming for British food festivals are a great place for your products. We love these products. Richie Nkechi, all the best. Yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
I guess you should do that. You're going to fairs and everything, exhibitions, and listen. If you can take on and convince NAFDAC here and all these other people. I tell you,
Mm.
with the quality of the food you have, of the products you have, you know, I'm sure you'll be able to. I'm really,
Yeah,
really
I
sure.
should.
You know,
I should be able to.
I'm sure. I'm very, very sure you'll be able to. You know,
I should be able to.
so it's been. What would you tell? I think you're a product that's very well made in Nigeria because you can. I mean, you started by saying, "I just fry chin chin. I just make chin chin. That's all." You should go back and give your every time you see your sister, big sister, give her a big hug because you know we would not have been talking to you today if she had just let you have a pity party and wait for
The
the
oil companies to employ
yes,
me.
the oil companies, yes, yes. And right now the oil companies will you will just say, hey, listen, why don't you guys just take bulk? You know?
Seriously.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, someone asked here, hey Gloria, it's been a long time since I saw you. Nice to see you today. She says, would you be open to training interested minds? Training in what? Could you specify, Gloria?
I'm sure
Is
training in making chin chin. I've had a
it
lot of that.
making
A lot of
in making
maybe
chin
in making
chin?
chin chin. I've had a lot of that, but for now, I'm not doing trainings. But as soon as I start
Okay.
doing trainings, of course, I'll put the word out there, and people, a lot of people will know about the trainings. But for now, no, we are not doing trainings for now. It's going to be a
Okay,
lot
so
trying to grow and develop my business, and then getting training and doing training alongside. So for now, we are not. But when we are, I'll put the word out there, and a lot of people will know about the trainings.
okay, so once she puts the word out, I will put it on my page, and you're my friend already on Facebook, so on Instagram, Gloria, so you'll see it. You know. Yes, I wanted to ask before we go quickly. Before we go, you talked about getting investors and everything. Isn't that going to dilute your share, your financial share? In
Um,
the, yeah.
of course, it's definitely going to, but I rather have a lesser percentage of my company and then have the company grow big than having 100% and then still trying to struggle and struggling for years. I know with investors, it makes the vision happen faster and makes the company grow faster. So of course, I'm willing to. I actually had my fears. In fact, the truth is, I've had investors. I had investors that were interested at the beginning of the year that actually approached me and they were interested in investing at the beginning of the year. But somehow I just developed a cold feet because the first thought I had was, so you mean I'm going to lose a part of, because permit to use this word. I see my company, I still call it my company as one of my babies, you know. So imagine you trying to now give out this baby to total strangers, or so to speak. So I didn't want it. Yeah, I liked the idea at first of like, okay, yeah, it's growing big. But when I actually started getting the offers, I backed out. In fact, I had someone that was actually interested. And the person was like, if you really want, the person was like, I want us to go big. It is either go big or go home. Go big to the extent that you can be doing 1 million packs monthly. In fact, I never got back to that person. I ran away. I did not get back to him. I'm like, 1 million what? So he told me, and I never thought about, yes, I thought about growing big, but I never thought about it like doing 1 million. So imagine doing 1 million packs of chin chin every month. And the person was like, that's just for a start. So
Well, you
it's
can
like,
do it
that's the
every
beginning.
day. You can do
Exactly.
it
So
every
of
day.
course, it's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy to say now and laugh about it, but 5 months ago, it wasn't that easy. I was scared. I was so scared that I never got back to that person. I never got back to him. But right now, I think I'm ready. I'm ready to actually go big. I'm like, even 1 million is too small. Can we do 10 million already? So I've gone past that stage of being scared, and and I'm ready to go big.
Yeah. Go big or go home. Now,
Yeah,
I'm
go big or
particularly
go home.
happy we started this independence series celebrating Nigeria with you because you're in my city of Port Harcourt, and I'm just so happy. You know, we say from Port Harcourt to the world, and it's coming to
Yeah,
pass. Oh yeah, oh yeah, from Port
yeah,
Harcourt to
it
the world,
is.
and
Mhm.
yes, yes. Okay, we have a comment here from Geraldine. She says, in case you please let me put it up. Says thoroughly vet your prospective investors' character and value, what they actually bring to the table in terms of sustainably growing business is a critical success factor. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jerry. Thank you for
Thank you,
pointing that out
Geraldine.
as
Thank you
well.
so much. Of course, I
Thank
will. I
you.
will definitely. I'll definitely vet the prospective
Yes.
investors.
Somebody had made a comment here that do it afraid, and I say yes. There must always be. And Geraldine, she's a lawyer, so she can bear me out. There's possibly an exit clause you can have, and it might be it gets a bit messy, but if you don't do it afraid, if you don't make a mistake, I mean, there's nothing in this world where you don't misstep and then correct yourself. I think that's growth.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
yes, yeah, misstep and then correct
yeah, it
yourself,
is.
and then
Yes.
well,
And there's something there's a line I learned from my husband. He said, "We learn by doing. No matter how much you plan,
that's it.
do the
Yeah.
business plan. Until you get out there, you can never know how it will be. So it's until you go out there, do what you're supposed to do. That's how you keep learning and keep growing. So we learn by doing, and that's the only way.
Yes.
So go out there, do it afraid, start something, start doing it, and yes, you make the mistakes, but definitely you will grow. So
Yes. You will grow. You will grow. Like I said, you have a fabulous product. I couldn't say it's enough. You really have a fabulous product, and then it can only keep getting better. It can only keep
thank
getting better.
you, Ma.
So let's just keep growing bigger together. And then keep showcasing Nigeria and celebrating Nigeria and what the good in us. We already know the bad in us, so let's celebrate the good in us, and then big up to you, Nkechi. Thank you very much, and
Thank you so
we
much, Ma. Thank
we
you,
look
Ma. Thank you
forward
for
to going
having
to
me.
supermarkets everywhere in the world and
Yes,
seeing flournuts. Say
yes,
that's our
yes,
own.
yes.
That's our own. Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
guys, listen. You can
Thank you
you
so
can
much.
you can you can order your flour nuts. I think you can order and you can. Hey, listen. You know what?
Yes, you
Just
can
order the
order, we can
flour
deliver
nuts.
to you. If you are not in Port
Yes.
Harcourt, we have it in all the ShopRite stores in Lagos. We had in Hubmart, but we had to pull out our products from Hubmart. We had issues. Then we have it in a Market Square. All Market Squares in Port Harcourt. We have it in Welcome You stores in Port Harcourt. We have it in ShopRite in Abuja, all ShopRite stores in Abuja, and some other pharmaceutical stores in Abuja. Then we have it in ShopRite at Akure, ShopRite at Sabah, ShopRite Ibadan. Ibadan was a place I didn't want to dare, but funny enough, I went into Ibadan and I'm doing so well in Ibadan because I was scared for Ibadan. I don't know why, but I felt like maybe it was too far away from home and I'd never been to Ibadan. So, but I was shocked. Ibadan is actually doing very well, almost competing with Lagos, with sales in Lagos. Then we have it in Akure. Akure is doing so well also. We have it also in ShopRite in Warri, ShopRite in Asaba. And so those are a couple of stores. And of course, you can order online via WhatsApp,
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook, and we'll deliver to you wherever you are. We've had people
Please,
order
please
from
go
the
to my
US, from the
hometown of
UK.
Calabar.
Okay, we will. We will definitely. We will. I get orders too from Calabar, and they keep telling me to come into some of their shops there, but I've not had any serious distributor from Calabar. So if I have one, then it'll be easier to get into Calabar.
Okay,
So it's
Calabar people
easier
on
to get
this
into Calabar.
broadcast,
All I do is deliver
please.
to Calabar, and
Calabar people on this broadcast, please.
mhm.
We're looking for distributors, big distributors. Okay. Well, before we go, this I think this is interesting. She looks forward. This is Geraldine to almond flour nuts for those watching blood sugar. That's
Watching
an
for blood
interesting
sugar. Oh,
blood sugar.
okay.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah.
interesting
That's
one.
that's an
Mm,
interesting one. That's an interesting one.
okay.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you. Oh, Gloria says she can work that out. Well, Gloria, if you're serious, you know what? Reach me and I'll hook you up to Nkechi. Okay?
Okay.
Reach me after this, and I'll hook you up with Nkechi. So we can see. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And Nkechi, thank you. It's been a joy. And
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me,
thank you
Ma.
so much. Thank you. And we wait until when you are bigger than this. I'm sure you're going to be bigger than this. Then we'll come back and do a
Yes, I
follow-up
will.
to this, because you're bigger than you were 3 years or 4 years ago when I first met you. And I'm sure we won't
Yes,
have to wait for
yes,
another four
yes.
years. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah, keep rising, and keep doing what you do. Take
Thank you.
care.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
believing
you.
in me. Thank you for trusting it, for even agreeing. I'm not the person you took my product. You didn't know me for Adam, but you agreed to take the product and you gave me your feedback. Thank you so much. I've always
Thank
known you have
you.
believed in me somewhere at the back of my mind, but I think I can bring it to the front of my mind now because I actually know you actually do believe in me. Thank you so
I
much.
do. Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Thank
See
you
you
for
soon.
having me. Okay,
Okay.
bye. Okay,
I'm
Ma,
placing my
bye.
order. After this, I'm placing my order.
Okay, no problem,
Okay.
Ma. We'll deliver as
Okay.
usual.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.